So before we get into this crazy chapter of Bleach, I want to address the big news that Bleach will be going into a hiatus for the next 5 weeks because Kubo needs to get re-energized for the final arc in the 1,000-Year Blood War of Bleach in its entirety. And wow, to find out that we're approaching the end this quick, it really seems a little bit shocking because I feel as though there's still a lot of content to cover for this to be the final arc in the 1,000-Year Blood War and in Bleach in general. Soul King, the Zero Division, we still haven't explored all of that. There's still a lot of mysteries around Bleach that need to be addressed, so hopefully things don't get rushed, but if this is the end, that's pretty freaking crazy because I thought Bleach was going to go. Kubo said in 2010 he will make his series last for 10 more years, but I don't know how, one arc is going to... We'll just see. Now, this particular chapter, it addressed a couple different things, very major things, and I was glad that it did because it ended off in such a crazy cliffhanger that it's going to be a pain in the ass to wait 5 weeks to get the next chapter of this craziness. So let's start off with Kyoraku and Ichigo's friends. Pretty much the whole thing of him saying that, Ichigo might not be able to return, and he said it's like a 1 out of 10,000 or whatever. It makes you think, is Ichigo really gonna, it kind of hints at it, but then it shies away, so it makes it less predictable, because it's like, okay, it's a 1 out of 10,000, but then at the same time, why would Kubo include this and give them tickets? Maybe Kyoraku is playing it off so that they don't worry as much about Ichigo, because it's like, the way he describes it is though, Ichigo might be too strong pretty much, and his power will be too immense for him to enter the human world to allow it. He might, upset the balance. And it makes you think, okay, does he mean that Ichigo's going to kind of be like Aizen, where, he's walking around and his Reiatsu is pretty much too much for people to handle? Exactly what was he meaning by that, or does he just mean that they don't want somebody with that much power in the human world? Either way, it's interesting to see because now, okay, we know that Ichigo has unlocked his true potential, he's at his max at this point, and it just really depends on where, the battles go from here. But I'm glad we got the answer of exactly more or less why Ichigo might not be able to return. I think it was a little bit crazy that he gave them actual tickets to go, hey, you want to go see Ichigo in the dead anytime? Here's some tickets. That kind of just threw me off a bit, but at the same time, it also makes it seem that it's hinting more towards Ichigo will stay in Soul Society in the end, because the thing about Ichigo is that he's always had this struggle. I want to protect the people I love, I want to do that, I want to be a Shinigami, but I also want a real normal life, and I want my friends around me. And having his family and friends be able to visit him over there might give him a little bit more satisfaction, so where he can stay over there and at least see his family friends, but he still won't have that normal life. So it's interesting to see. I mean, at the end of the day, can they really stop Ichigo if he really wanted to live a normal life? That's arguable. Now, the chapter on Orihime, the more slower part of the chapter, but still, we got to see that pretty much, they're training. I don't know how much use they're going to be against the Stern Ritters, because, Stern Ritters kicked ass last time, but at least they're training, and hopefully they get a little more relevance to this arc, because if this is the final arc, I'm excited to see what Orihime and Chad's reaction will be to seeing that Uryu is pretty much on the opposing side, because right now they're still blind to it. I guess to them, they think Uryu is just chilling back, not paying attention to any of this, but when they get that reaction, I'm going to be freaking just going crazy, because it's like, Uryu is kind of like turning the back on them in a way, so it's going to be exciting to see. But that was definitely the slower part of the chapter. And then the end, which I cannot wait 5 weeks to see where this is going to go. Pretty much the Serite was turned into this icy look, similar to the Vanden Rake. So it kind of makes you think, okay, was the Vanden Rake like just in another dimension and he just warped everything into the Vanden Rake? And I think the reason why he had to do that as well is because he doesn't want to go through what he went through last time. Because remember, last time he had to flee very quick because he only had a little bit of time left in the Vanden Rake. And I think that that's why he did that, so that way he don't have to run back. Pretty much probably the spear is going to be protecting Juhabak, and pretty much it's almost as if he's in the Vanden Rake at this point, so he can fight as long as he wants. He don't got to retreat or anything. And that's a great strategy if that is the case. And overall, it's just like, yo, he just fucked the Serite up in the final ending of this chapter. He just fucked everything up. Freaking crazy. The world will end in 9 days, but they're already there and they're already about to attack. So is he going to try to slay people, or is it going to take him 9 days to finish everyone off? I don't understand exactly why will it take 9 days when he's already there, him, Hauswald, and Uryu, to pretty much attack. It's going to be interesting to see. Maybe he's going to just handle some business right now, then retreat to somewhere else and then come back in 9 days or something like that. And overall, 9 days to regain the world doesn't mean that it's going to take him 9 days to just defeat everyone, or doesn't mean that in 9 days he's going to get this certain power that is going to bring him, a lot more strength to be able to defeat everybody and rule the world. I'm not exactly sure about that either, but a lot of mystery, and overall the ending of this chapter was freaking hype. It gave you, pretty much it pushed the entire story forward to, Juhabak is ready for the second strike at Soul Society, and it's time to finish it off. Now, I really want to see what Uryu was going to do, because, to be honest with you, if Uryu really is siding with Juhabak, it's going to be really intense when Ichigo and him meet up as well, because I could see him and Ichigo having a fight. And will Ichigo really go all out on Uryu? That's really debatable. To be honest with you, I think in a way Uryu, while he's doing that, I think that he also has reservations, and he might flip on Juhabak, or he probably is planning on flipping on Juhabak, because I just don't see Uryu being like down with this. At the end of the day, he came to peace with, his grandfather's death. He came to peace with everything, and yeah, he's not a big fan of Shinigamis and whatnot. He's not a big fan of protecting them, but to see Uryu just like in this state, getting ready to attack Soul Society with Juhabak and everything, knowing that Juhabak is the man that's responsible for the death of his own mother, it really makes you think, is this really the case? Is he really bad right now? I don't know. It's really debatable, but overall, a lot of questions. We got a couple answers in this chapter. We got, the whole thing with Ichigo might be too strong to return to the human world. We pretty much got everything moved forward to pretty much the Serite is the Vonnegut. And it really just, I want more of the logistics of exactly what is the Vonnegut, and what was it that just happened. It seems as though it was like it teleported everything into like maybe this frozen state, and maybe that's what the Stern Ritters and Juha are. They're just like some frozen state, that's why they're allowed to be there, and once 9 days passes, he'll be fully back to the living pretty much, and maybe that's what he means as well. So a lot of questions, couple answers, overall really hyped. So what do you guys think? First of all, Uryu, is he going to be 100% faithful to Juha? Does he have some plans to screw him over? Do you think he's going to have an encounter with Ichigo or Chad and Orihime, or all three of them? How do you think that's going to go down? And also, do you think Ichigo is going to end up having to stay in Soul Society when all is said and done? What will his role be? I'd imagine if he is, set to stay in Soul Society, where they basically have to force him pretty much, it will be maybe to be like Soul King in the end. We got to see what the Soul King is, though. Regardless, a lot of questions. I might address a lot of this in a discussion video, but tell me what you guys think about some of these topics in the comment section below, because a lot of stuff was arisen with this chapter. It's going to take forever for these 5 weeks to come by. I give this chapter 9 out of 10. The only thing was that pretty much we were left with a lot of questions, and the Orihime and Chad thing was kind of not so necessary. I mean, I'm glad we got to see that they're, active and whatnot. They're getting ready. But in actuality, really, Orihime and Chad, the best thing I could see them doing is maybe having an encounter with Uryu, and I could see Uryu kind of whipping their ass and moving forward. So it's going to be hype. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up if you can't wait for these 5 weeks to pass. I mean, 5 weeks pass and we get more of this, but at the same time, it's also approaching the end of Bleach, which is a very sad thing. I don't even want to think about, because, I love this series so much, and just to think about this series ending, just, no. Up in the world, and as always, people, have an awesome day.